I'm going to be talking about dead people. How's that? It's All Saints. It's a time in the Christian year when we remember dead people. It's the reason we have Halloween. That's Hallow is saints, and Halloween is the night before. So All Saints Day is November 1st, the day after Halloween. And in our church, we got this tradition of remembering and naming all the people who've died in the last year as a way of keeping sort of connected to them and remembering them and treasuring them. So we'll be thinking about that today. And try not to be too morbid, maybe, but find joy even in the stories of those who aren't with us anymore. Thanks for coming. You're at the Takeout. I'm Jeremy Williams. I'm the pastor at Community United Methodist Church in North Muskegon, Michigan, and communitychurchumc.org. Thanks for showing up. So, saint is a word that means holy person. And anybody can be holy. It doesn't have to take the Pope and the Catholic Church to have a council to decide that you are holy. Any person who is in a relationship with Jesus Christ, the Christian tradition says, God is making you holy. Because holy, what that means, it's a weird word. It doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean, wow, you're better than everybody else. What it means is God's got you. God has taken you. God has chosen you and set you apart. You may not act like you're set apart, but you're supposed to be set apart. And maybe you're supposed to be acting like it, but you're chosen. God wants you. God's keeping you. So get used to it. And that's what a saint is. And so really you could say that everyone in a church can be called a saint, and we know we're not perfect. We know we're just peeps, but even so, the Bible would call us all saints. Paul sometimes calls all the people in any given church. He'll say, to all the saints in Philippi or wherever he's writing to. And that's great. It's a reminder. Hey, you're chosen, you're set apart, you're different. But there's something else too, because we've got in our tradition this funny idea that we don't talk about very much. And I'm flipping pages in the Bible, but what we don't talk about is this idea called the communion of saints. And the communion of saints is the idea that somehow, because God has chosen us, one of the things we do is have communion, and that literally means taking this and putting us together into one, being one together. The com part is the together, the union part is the one. You got that? So, by making us all one, we actually are all sharing in one life. And guess what life that is? That's the life of Jesus. It's not just the life of, this week I had to say something political, I guess. The life of a political party, or the life even of a nation, or the life of a family. No, it's something different than that. It's something God has done and said, no, you're all connected. If you have ever been and worshipped with people who spoke a different language than you, and maybe you're lost. I went to a mass in a cathedral in Leon, in Nicaragua, and my Spanish is pretty close to non-existent, and yet I knew where I was in the service. I had an idea. I know the tradition well enough. I felt connected. I went to church. Heck, I preached in a church in Haiti, and got to pray with people and tell people about the Bible and all these things that I do, and I just felt like we're all together. I've been in Lithuania, in places where Methodists worship just like they're Catholic, using bells and liturgy and everything, and And I felt at home there. I felt like we're all sharing something. We're all connected. We're all one. And so that's the sort of the first easy meaning of the communion of saints, is that we are all one. All the people whom God has chosen, we all have a connection. And that's really hard to remember in a political year, isn't it? Because, that sign that I saw on someone's lawn that says Jesus 2020, I don't know what political party that person is buying into, because really it could be people over here who think that Jesus is all about stopping abortion, or it could be all these people over here saying that Jesus is all about justice for immigrants. I don't know which Jesus they're rooting for. And I feel like there's a potential for us to create a great divide with all us humans being confusing and all us humans being messy. But the fact is, if I were to actually go in and worship together with people, even if I sit there and go, oh, I can't stand this message, I can't stand the theology, I don't like this song, even so, I know at some level I fit in here. This is my family. This is the weird part of my family that I don't get along with. But this is all part of my family. And that's really an amazing thing. But let's take it to the next level, because I want to ask you, in what time God lives, in what time God is doing things. And the more you wrap your head around it, the more you start to think God is independent of time. If God knows everything in time, beyond time. God measured time. Why not say that when God brings us together, it's kind of independent of time? And so the real idea of the communion of saints is not just me being connected to Christians in Nicaragua or Haiti or Lithuania or wherever. It's really something else. It's really, I'm connected to Christians from all times. I'm connected to all of them. Isn't that cool? This is the idea behind, this kind of idea can grow in different directions. And one of the places it can grow is the idea that you can pray to a saint. And Methodists don't play that. And Baptists and Presbyterians would just slap us and walk away, because no, don't even talk like this, crazy. No, so I'm not telling you go pray to Saint whoever, or pray to your dead grandma, or pray to, no, but you might talk to that person if you feel a connection to them. I'm not stopping you from having a conversation with someone who's already gone. Maybe I'm inviting you to watch Coco again. I don't know. But there's a connection that we have because of Jesus with all these other people, that we share something together. So it's not that I have to pray to St. Jerome, who's kind of a crabby guy. I wouldn't want to get in a conversation with him anyway. But I know when I pray, I like other people to be praying with me. I like people who I know who are alive praying with me. And I guess it wouldn't be too crazy if I believe that these people are in heaven. It wouldn't be too crazy to say they might be able to pray with me too. And that's interesting. But I don't want to just stop there. I want to think about the people we love and what they are to us. What it is about people that makes them so special, that we want to stick with them, that we want to maintain a relationship with them, even when we know they're gone. And for that, I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5 is the beginning of 3 chapters in Matthew that are very famous. It's a summary of so much of Jesus' teaching, and it's called the Sermon on the Mount because it starts right at the beginning by saying, Jesus went up on a hill and started talking to his disciples. I'll read that in a second. But this whole Sermon on the Mount begins with another part that's really famous within that, and that's called the Beatitudes, which is not attitudes about being, It's a Latin word that means blessings. And blessing is a word that means happy. So depending on your translation, you might find one that says, happy are you who, this and that and the other. Listen in. Here it is. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, or hill if you like. And after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Man, and I think of the people I know and the people I've known, and one of the privileges of being a pastor is I have known a lot of people who are approaching death because they call me or their family calls me, and I get to have a conversation. And these conversations are with people who are really coming face to face with death and so often achieving a kind of a peacefulness that maybe they didn't have in the rest of their lives. But now they're starting to realize, I'm getting closer to God, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a scary thing. It's a peaceful thing. They don't all feel that way, and they don't all get that way, but it's a cool thing. It is one of the holiest things to be in the presence of someone who is really sort of only a paper thickness away from being with God, and they're feeling that presence wrapping around them. It's so awesome. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And we're not really sure what Jesus means by that, but theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek. And I think of those people who have given their lives and they've reached maybe old age and they're feeble and their bodies have failed them and sometimes their families have failed them and their minds are not so good, but they're meek. They are not arrogant in front of God anymore like a 58-year-old might be, but they are humble and giving themselves up, and there's such a meekness in that. It's beautiful. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. What a crazy thing to say. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. And so I think of all the people I would think of as saints who have spent their lives working to do good, to make sure that good prevails in the world, fighting against evil in so many ways and changing the world with love. They will be filled. They've been hungry, and now they're going to be filled. It's really cool. It's beautiful. This image of saints. Because it's here you are now. Here you are now hungry. Here you are now meek. Here you are, everything that the world does not want you to be. The world wants you to be arrogant, and the world seems to want you to be pushy, and the world makes you want to get your own way and to be proud. And you're being the opposite. But there's a reward in heaven for you that is undeniable. That heaven is yours. God's presence is yours. Like this next one. Blessed are the merciful, not those who are retributive or angry, but blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. That's a message that keeps coming back from Jesus in so many places, including the next chapter of Matthew, where it's the Lord's Prayer. And then blessed are the pure in heart. And I've known some pure in heart people. I don't know how they were when they were young, but they hit 90 or 85, and they've got a purity, a translucence about them that is beautiful. Blessed are the pure in heart. And what's so great about the pure in heart? About those who get rid of every extraneous desire, who set aside all those other things, who really aren't impressed, who don't want another suit, car, house, sexual relationship, another drink. They don't want any of those things. It doesn't matter. They're pure, and purity of heart is to will one thing, and they only want one thing, and that is to see God. They will see God, it says. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And it goes on a little longer. I wanted to share with you this idea of these saints, these people who are called, who are stepping forward and becoming the very most. And I want to say, when they die is not when I want to lose them, because then they are becoming so precious. In their fragility, right in the middle of that, they are becoming their very best selves. I want to hold on to them and love them. And the great thing about this idea of the communion of saints is, hey, you still got them. In so many ways, I still got them. I still got a memory of them. I still got stories to share. I still got that sort of feeling of connection that they had to God, and knowing that as they got old, as they let go, they came to a place of great peacefulness and purity. How beautiful that is. I hope that you discover in this life that Jesus is all about inviting you to have that kind of amazing relationship and purity and spiritual growth and advancement. I hope that you get to find that for yourself and have it always. Thanks for joining me. This is The Takeout. I'm Jeremy. Do be in touch. We're at communitychurchumc.org.